So we're back with Fundamentals of Case Management Practice, Skills for the Human Services, 5th edition. Chapter 4, Cultural Competence. Cultural competence. Our perceptions and attitudes are influenced by our own culture. Ethically, we have a responsibility to become acquainted with cultures that differ from our own, and with which we have extensive contact. The only way to work with people from different cultures is to see them as unique individuals and make every effort to perceive them accurately. This is why I've actually taken to trying to learn about some of the different religions that I'm going to post at some point. And then I was thinking of diving into some of the other cultures, like the deaf community, and reaching out there. But anyway, on to the next slide. Where do our difference lies? Cultures generally refers to an entire society within a specific political boundary wherein the citizens share a common understanding. Subcultures within a society are smaller groups who hold the dominant culture, but also hold specific ideas and beliefs that may differ from the dominant culture in some ways. Race and ethnic groups. Societies can have different races and ethnic groups within them. Race refers to the group of people who are biologically similar within an ethnic group ethnic group refers to a group of people who share a common cultural heritage. We versus them attitude. We learn who is in our in-group and who is in our out-groups through our socializations. In-groups are seen as acceptable. They are seen as being more like ourselves. Out-groups are generally groups with whom we do not often interact and with whom we feel uncomfortable. We often describe in-groups favorably while we are often suspicious of the motives of the out-group. We versus them attitudes develops in us when we use our own culture to judge the culture of others. Strangers. When we meet people who we do not think, act, or believe as we do, we often find them strange. Often their ways of thinking and acting are unfamiliar to us. It is always the dominant culture that defines who is a stranger. As the world becomes more global, we are likely to encounter people who are different from ourselves. It is often up to the social worker to help immigrants make a smooth adjustment to a new culture. Immigrants who become competent in the dominant culture are healthier. Anxiety and uncertainty. It is common to feel anxious when we attempt to interact with individuals from different cultures. We need to manage those feelings so we do not impede our communication with others. In order to feel less anxious, we may interpret the stranger's behavior or beliefs through our own culture. The more we feel the person is like us, the less likely we are to feel anxious. Thoughtless versus thoughtful communication. Ways we can make our communication more thoughtful. Recognize our tendencies to categorize. Look at how we might stereotype a person. Look for exceptions. Seek exceptions to our stereotype. Check our attributions. Do we see negative behavior in others as being part of our poor character while our negative behavior is blamed on circumstances? Evaluate our scripts. People from different cultures may not have the same scripts we do, and thus we misunderstand their actions. Check our perceptions. Check with the other person to see if your perceptions are correct. Allow for differences. Recognize there's a lot you don't know and being open to finding out more. Dimensions of culture. Basically, most cultures fall into either an individualistic culture or a collectivist culture. Individualistic cultures tend to place an emphasis on the individual. Collectivist cultures tend to place more emphasis on a group. Many researchers believe communication can be better facilitated if we know whether the person with whom we are meeting comes from an individualistic culture or a collectivistic culture. Individualistic cultures are more vertical. People are expected to stand out from others, value freedom, promote self-fulfillment, emphasize individual initiative and achievement, emphasize the need and goals of individuals over the group. In-group influence is specific to time and place and not general. Support unique individual beliefs and maximize individual outcomes. collectivist cultures, people are not expected to stand out. A value is placed on equality. Cooperation occurs with in-group members. In-group members look out for each other. Requires that people fit into the group. Emphasize belonging. Group goals are emphasized. There are shared group beliefs. Tend to apply different value standards to members of the in-group as compared to the members of the out-group. Obstacles to understanding. Stereotypes. Assumptions about people from a particular group, and we do not question these assumptions. Ethnocentrism. We use the standard of our own culture to judge the behavior and culture of the others. Prejudice. Based on the stereotype, we avoid or deny certain things to people from this group. Conflict. Cultural misunderstandings turn into hostilities and conflict. Changing attitudes. We can change our attitude towards strangers and members of the outgroup. Contact, especially contact around substantive issues, is helpful. Stress cooperation rather than competition. Learn to see members of other groups as individuals rather than representations of our own biases and stereotypes. Remain open to learn more. Confirm to others that they are valuable to you as individuals, that their experiences and concerns are important, that you are willing to become involved to help them resolve their problems. Workers who are culturally competent. Workers who are culturally competent are adaptable to situations, flexible in choosing how to respond to situations, have a commitment to give high quality service to every person who comes for assistance, lets others know how they have been heard and their concerns are significant, and are respectful of others regardless of culture. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching.